I am going live in just a second. I'm going to invite her in. I'm going live with FUMS with Kathy Reagan Young. And hopefully she will accept. Yes, here she is. Hello.
Hey, Megan, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm so excited. This is my first Instagram live ever.
I love that, and you did it.
I did it! Because you gave me really explicit instructions, which is what I need, so thank you for that.
Perfect. No problem. I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
Oh, good. I want to first introduce you, so I'm going to read your bio.
Okay.
Kathy Reagan Young was diagnosed with MS in 2008. She started her path in patient advocacy with a blog called FUMS in 2011 and added the FUMS podcast in 2015. When working for someone else became too much, she went home to take care of herself. Her paychecks quit coming, but her bills didn't. She needed to find a way to both take good care of herself and make money. After a lot of trial and error, she figured it out. And once she did, she knew it was her obligation to share this information with others in the chronic conditions community. Thus, her Patients Getting Paid membership community was born. She teaches people to find and create work that both accommodates their health and generates an income and loves them up while she's doing it. So that's so amazing. So tell me more about, please, your journey, your story of MS, when you were diagnosed, how you were diagnosed. And then I definitely want to hear more about your program.
Yeah. Well, okay, 2008, I woke up one morning. I had two little girls, 4 and 6, and I noticed there was something funky about my vision, very technical term, funky vision. I couldn't have told you what was wrong, but it just, something was wrong. I remember looking out the window going like, something's just not exactly right. And I was more tired than, I couldn't explain the tired I was feeling. Now I know that's fatigue, not just tired, but just bone tired. But again, I had a 4 and a 6-year-old, and I just thought, okay, I'm a mom that's exhausted. Yeah. And I was doing marketing at the time, and I was working on a project for an ophthalmologist. And I messaged him and I said, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm not going to be able to get this to you. I think I'm coming down with something like the flu or something. And he said, well, like what's happening? How are you feeling? And I said, well, no, I don't have a fever or anything, and I'm explaining everything. And then I said, there's something funky with my vision. It almost seems like as the day's going on, my vision might be doubling. And he said, I'll see you in my office tomorrow morning at 7. And I knew he didn't open until 8. So I thought, okay, maybe this isn't the flu.
Wow.
And yeah.
Well, what blessing that you were working for. I mean, that was completely, I just got chills when you said that, because I'm like, she just happened to be working for an optometrist?
It's unbelievable. And his wife was one of my best friends, and she was a doctor also.
Oh.
So I got ushered in easily through this process, whereas most people, it took them a long, long time. But thank goodness I had these friends, and I went in and he took a look and he said, well, I can tell you the eyesight thing is what's called sixth nerve palsy, but that's not an answer. That's a symptom of something else, and you really need to get an MRI. So I'm going to call my friend who's the neurologist, and he's going to be waiting for you to go take a look at you and then get you in for an MRI. So like I said, I got ushered in, whereas other people really had to wait a long time. And I stopped on my way over there to two things. I stopped on my way to the neurologist to tell my husband what was going on. And he's like, okay, let's go. And so he was following me home to drop off my car. And I swung in because I had forgotten, and I saw signs that it was election day, and it was an off-year election, and I had to vote because I don't ever not vote. It's important. Everybody vote. So I stopped in and I closed one eye and I went in and I voted, and then went home, and my husband was like, what in the hell was that? Like, hey, it's our responsibility. So I dropped off my car, jumped in his car. We went to the neurologist, and back in those days, you really had to wait a long time to get results, which is crazy to me because now I understand that they're able to see it right away. So
Right.
I don't know what was going on, but it took about a month to get all the results. They did a lumbar puncture.
Yeah.
They drew more blood than I thought I had in my veins. Evoke potential test. I mean, they ran me through everything. And when I went back in for the results, I hadn't even sat down in his office yet. And he said, well, it's MS. I was like, that was the one thing I did not want. I mean, you don't want anything, but of everything that, I had certainly gone to Dr. Google immediately, as you do.
Doctor.
And all of the horrible things that it could have been, that I identified it could have been, MS just sounded like the worst to me. Because I had known people, for instance, who had brain tumors, both of my brothers, in fact, and they either had surgery or it was benign, and they got on with their lives. What I understood about MS was you can't have it excised. It's not going anywhere. It's
surgery.
It might not be a death sentence, but it's a life sentence. And I did not want that. So I was just shocked when he said that to me. Shock and awe, as it were. Yeah. And it was tough. It was about 6 weeks of serious relapse. Of just being able to go from my bed to my sofa. And I had these 2 little kids. So I called my mom, and she came out from Minnesota and helped me, and neighbors helped me. I'm like the luckiest person I know in that I have wonderful support around me. And my kids were awesome, and they helped.
One of them might be on.
Oh, yes. Hey,
Reagan. And somebody else commented that, yes, with the eyes, eye issues, they can figure it out quickly, not so fast. Otherwise, it took you 5 years. So this other one, like,
yes,
or I think it's a woman. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. So hard going through a relapse, having little kids. Yes, Heather, I don't have kids, but I know a lot of women who do, and so I know how hard that can be. So Kathy, you had a wonderful community, which is amazing, surrounding you.
Yes.
And so that was 2008. So how did that turn into to FUMS and your business 3 years, your blog later?
What was on the internet in 2008 was just sheer terror. Yeah. There was no good news. There was no patient advocacy platforms at all. So it was just really scary stuff. So I'm diagnosed in 2008. In 2011, so I've got 3 years under my belt with this disease. And what I realized was all that scary stuff that I saw at the beginning hadn't really come to fruition. And there was space to breathe. And actually, there was life after diagnosis. And it could be actually a very good and full life. And kind of when I had that epiphany, I thought, well, I need to tell other people that. Like, no one's saying that. Mm-hmm. So that, and I also had noticed that I had sort of inadvertently come up with a mantra for myself. I really honestly did not realize this for quite some time, that when I would do something that based on what had been on the internet when I was diagnosed, or what my neurologist, who was at the beginning, told me I would not be able to do. Yep. In my head, I was thinking, well, FUMS. And when that kind of came to my consciousness, and I realized that, I thought, well, that's really empowering. And so combined with really just wanting to get the story out that, there's life after diagnosis, and you can have a great life. And that I think attitude can have a lot to do with anything. And so I wanted to share my FUMS attitude with the world. So that's why I started the blog. Yeah.
What I love about you, because just like me, like, I'm all about empowering other women on this journey. And just the statement, it's funny, you and I talked about this, because my husband and I like made hats that say FMS. I have to say, I did find some.
Oh,
so
good.
I need to send you one.
Okay.
They don't say FUMS, but they say FMS.
Same sentiment.
And, yeah. And so Anyway, but yeah, I love that because it really got you through. And that's all about
It
empowering
still does.
mindset. Yeah, totally. And
Still does. I had to say it this morning to get me out of bed. It's not a good day today, but FUMS helps me get out of bed a lot and it keeps me going.
yes.
And then, so that was in 2011. I just started the blog. And then in 2015, I started the podcast because I'm such a fangirl of podcasts. I am constantly listening. And I love them because of the intimacy that they seem to bring. So I feel like I know these people, these hosts, you know, you get to know them and I really feel like they're my friends and I learn from them and they share themselves, the good ones, share about themselves and they're transparent and they're uplifting. And I thought that's the kind of relationship and the kind of communication that I want to have with my community. I want them to know me and I want them to hear me speak to them. I want to be in their ear and I want them to hear me say FUMS with me. Say it. And it's going to help you. And so I started the podcast and I don't know, 120 some episodes in now. So
That's
it's
amazing.
been great.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yes, it is.
A lot of podcasts, a lot of time and energy. But
yes,
because you love the conversations, right?
I do. I do. And the other thing that I found, I had no idea going into it, but it's afforded me conversations with people I would never normally get to have. So, you know, I couldn't call up Columbia University and say, hey, it's Kathy Reagan Young, and I've got a few questions for your director of neuropsych, for instance.
Right.
But when I called and I said, hey, it's Kathy Reagan Young with the FUMS podcast show, and I'd like to schedule an interview, literally, let me knock on some wood here. No one has ever said no. No one has ever said no. It's kind of crazy. And so I feel like this gives me entree to people that we wouldn't be able to talk to and ask. And so I always put it out to my community and say, hey, I've got this interview coming up with this person. What do you want to know? And I formulate these questions ahead of time and try and get them answered for them in, you know, this forum where they can be listening in, but we might not otherwise get to ask those questions. So it's been very, very cool for me to get to do that and get to share that with everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just I love podcasts.
Well, Heather says the FUMS podcast has been so good for my soul since diagnosis. So
good. Yay, Heather. I'm so glad it helps.
And Christy, I think is her name. She said she was diagnosed in 2010 and info on the computer was pretty scary. And yeah, I'll add to that. I mean, I was diagnosed in 2004 and that was before, like, I feel like email had just kind of started around that time.
Yeah.
Like, Google wasn't even like a big thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of information and were not nearly as many drugs as there are now. And
right. There were 3 when I was diagnosed. So there's 20 some now.
Right. My doctor had told me, well, when I went in with issues, he said, well, you either had a stroke, you have a brain tumor, or you have MS. And I was like, I'll take what's behind door number 3.
Yeah. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Like if I had to choose, I wanted to choose MS, not the other 2. Those were way more scary for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the podcast, I love that. So you've been at that since 2011.
2015.
15, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is still, that's 8 years.
It's a long time. I did take about 18 months off, I think I did 6 episodes, and then my local community was going through some stuff. There were a lot of businesses that were leaving the community, and there was just all kinds of stuff going on. And I just, I don't know how I got into this, but I started a Facebook page for my local community, and that turned into going to a lot of city council meetings and hosting city council meetings and working with local businesses and all that sort of thing. And I just got completely absorbed in that. And so I sort of parked FUMS and my life basically for 18 months and did that.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I came back to it and just recognized that was where my heart was.
Yeah.
For sure.
So then talk about your patients getting paid membership community. Like how did that come to fruition and how does that work? What do you do now with that?
Yeah, so I my when I was diagnosed, I was a stay-at-home mom with those two little
Right.
buggers that I was telling you about that are now, by the way, Reagan, who was just on here, is 19 and at James Madison University, and Maggie May is about to turn 22. Anyway, and I stayed home with them, and the doctor said, it's good that you're staying home. You should never go back to work because stress is the worst. Oh yeah, he also told me there's no don't worry about nutrition
Yeah.
and definitely don't
They,
exercise. He was a winner.
yeah, they told us.
Anyway, but he said, good thing you're not working because there's nothing worse for MS than stress. And that's when I knew he was not right, or he had never stayed home with his own kids, because I'm thinking, now that's stress. Like, I've had stressful jobs and they weren't near the stress that I knew of staying home with kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, but also what I heard, this is my personality, what I heard in that was definitely go back to work, go full time, and just go hard, which is what I did when my youngest went to school full time. Then I went back to work and I went hard. And I loved it. I loved every second. I loved who I worked with. I loved what I was doing. I was doing marketing for a big physical therapy company in the area, meeting with doctors every day and in and out of clinics. And I really loved it.
Yeah.
Right up until I recognized I was having this stress. He wasn't wrong in this part. The stress was just too much.
Yep.
And one day I could not tell the difference between the gas pedal and the brake pedal. And I couldn't tell which side of the road I was supposed to drive on. And I had it together enough to know that I need to stay off the road. And that was my last day of employment.
Wow, that's scary. That is.
It's more scary now. I mean, I only barely had it enough together to know I didn't need to be on the road, but it didn't really resonate what that was going to mean in the future.
Right.
I just came home to take care of myself, and it was a good thing to have done. But then, like we said in the intro, my paychecks quit coming, but my bills didn't. So I needed to figure out how could I take care of myself, but yet generate an income. And this was obviously pre-COVID. I mean, now we have all these companies that understand that remote work can work.
Yeah. Right.
And it's opened up all kinds of avenues to people with all kinds of disabilities to be able to work. Finally, this has been a long time coming. Don't get me on that soapbox.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just figured out, I knew that people monetize blogs and podcasts, and I had both. Mm-hmm. With no intention of monetizing either. I just wanted to share what I was learning and about MS, and share my life with MS, and share these experts that I was able to get entree to. But now I needed to figure out a way to monetize them, And so I went online and I was looking for trainings, and oh my gosh, as many scammers as we know are in the real world, there's even more online, and I got taken more than once. But eventually I figured some things out, including how to monetize those things. And I learned about this whole patient advocacy industry that exists that nobody was talking about. Like, I happened to overhear somebody talking about how they write articles about their MS and then they get paid for the articles. I was like, excuse me, when I was snooping on you, did I ever hear you correctly?
Right.
Yep. So I started inquiring and these companies, and pretty soon I was writing for WebMD and Everyday Health and Healthline, and then Healthline hired me to do podcast episodes for them, and then they hired me to do, I'm the guide on MS Bezzy app, and I do live chats 5 days a week or 4 days a week now, and I'm the guide, not the guide, the moderator and admin for the MS Bezzy Facebook page also. And so I'm putting all this stuff together, all these different, this gig work, right? And being able to work remotely, but take good care of myself. I lay down when I need to. I go to the doctor without asking permission to leave the office.
Right.
All those things. And one day, I think I told you this, when I was pulling weeds in my garden, which is where I do my best thinking, I realized I was making more money and taking better care of myself now than I had working for someone else. And I thought, okay, at the same time it came to me, just like you, Megan, It's my obligation. I have to share this with people with chronic illness and let them know this is doable and this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's how Patients Getting Paid was born, which is a membership site that shares, I have experts on there to share workshops on the how to do things like voiceover work, affiliate marketing, if writing for big publications. Kind of the criteria for me is if it's something that can be done from anywhere and be done flexibly and generate a good income, that's the one that I'm going to seek out and try and get an expert on there, and we're going to do a training. And then we've got lots of accountability set up in there. So we have motivational Mondays and we have Finished It Fridays. And I also post gigs, condition specific and otherwise, every week. I mean, there's
so you
hundreds.
Things or people contact you with, hey, I'm looking for such and such, and then you post it in your community.
Yes. And also I have a couple of partners that send me lists, one of which sends a couple hundred gig listings every week. Now that's globally. So, but we're a global community, so it works well. But yeah, so there's lots of opportunities in there. And also I do 2 co-workings. I just got off a co-working, and I do at least two members only live coaching calls every month. And those are like, they are the special sauce. I'm telling you, because people come in and go, I don't know how to do anything. I'm not interested in anything. I'm not good at anything. I hear this all the time, which is untrue about every human being, but they just need a light shined, right? So the nice thing about those coaching calls is that gives me an opportunity, and other people in the community come on there too, even if they don't have any questions. They want to help. It's such a beautiful community, and they want to learn from other people's questions too. So, we just brainstorm and we pick and ask questions, and hey, what's your educational background? What do you like to do? What do you feel like you're good at? And knock on wood, so far, nobody's ever left without at least a couple of good ideas and paths forward on how to monetize and how to make that their business. And then we, help them on their journey.
That's amazing. There's a question that says, where do I find all this info? I need this in my life.
PatientsGettingPaid.com. There's also a podcast, Patients Getting Paid podcast, because why not?
Okay, cool. That's amazing. So it's a monthly membership program. Do you have like different tiers, or is it just all one?
Well, I would say to anybody interested, get in now, because we're about to increase the price. But yeah, and it's $29 a month. I mean, and one of these gigs, so I put all these gigs in there every Monday, and just one of these, I think the lowest gig on there is like $110 or something. So that's going to pay for 3 months worth of this right there, So it's really affordable, and it's this wonderful community of people with chronic illness. So everybody comes in speaking the same language and knowing.
Yeah.
We know what this is like to have to deal with this, and trying to find employment and feel we have purpose and
still feel confident about themselves, right?
Yes. I feel productive, and they're helping. And you know what? I think purpose is so important in everybody's life. You need to feel that you've got a purpose and to feel productive. And then if you can attach an income to that, so you feel like you are contributing to your family, because so many of us just feel like a burden, right? And we feel like we're weighing people down, and we have all these issues and all of this cost involved in our care. It feels pretty darn good to be able to make some money and contribute also.
That's amazing. I mean, it's so inspiring, and you're really helping so many people. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And so what else, as if you need more, do you do now? Because don't you have other projects? Do you still do marketing and things like that for people?
Well,
I'm company?
I'm still working with Healthline, doing all of those things daily.
Yeah.
And then, other companies will come to me. For instance, I'm working with a company and a startup right now that's looking at UV therapy in treatment for MS, and they want to build an app. And so they've come to me because I've worked on a number of apps now for folks with MS. So So I'm consulting on that. I do quite a bit of consulting. Different companies come to me
That's,
for that. So yeah.
that's incredible. Well, good for you. Well, so let me ask you this, sort of switching topics. Do you have any symptoms now? Like, what do you experience? Do you have anything? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What
Like I was saying, go
worst
ahead.
you're dealing with right now?
You know, probably my worst symptom, I'm going to say, is anxiety. And that's something I never experienced before MS, and even well into my experience with MS. I mean, I remember writing articles about anxiety and MS because they're like peas and carrots, right? They're like
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly. So many people experience anxiety with MS, but I had to do a lot of research because I hadn't experienced it. I didn't know what that felt like.
Mm-hmm.
I now know what that feels like, and it's horrible. And, you know, I'm finding some things that are helpful. I think exercise, movement, I don't even
Yeah.
like to say exercise,
Yeah, yeah.
movement
Yeah.
of any kind really seems to help. And to me, it's so counterintuitive because, like, when this anxiety takes over, all I want to do is crawl in bed and pull the covers over my head and just, or watch trash TV or something and just check out.
Which
But
is opposite, right, of what you actually should be touching base with it. So let's pause there for 1 second. Do you experience it daily or just frequently?
lately, daily now. Yeah, it's been amped up recently.
Okay. Would you like to do a little exercise so that we can get into it a little bit more?
Please, yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's close your eyes, take a deep breath. All out. Take another deep breath in. And release through your mouth. Sigh it out if that feels good for you. One more time, in through your nose. And out. So now I just want you to look at your anxiety. Notice what you notice. If any thoughts pop in your head, just watch them go by like clouds in the sky. Just tell them you'll see them later. You don't need them right now. But let's take a deeper look at the anxiety. Where is it reside in your body?
It's in my chest.
Okay. What does it look like? Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it human? Is it male?
It's a cloud, and it's black.
Okay. Now take another deep breath in. Now just in your mind's eye, ask this cloud what its name is.
Anxiety.
Okay.
All I'm seeing is anxiety.
Now ask it why it's there. What is it there to show you or tell you, or what message is it there for?
It says to keep me on guard.
Okay. So what is it trying to protect you from? On guard from what? Just ask it.
The future.
Okay, now ask it what's in the future that's so bad or scary. What's it trying to protect you from in the future?
This is bringing me back to a very dark place. So I have this vision that keeps coming up for me in the last several years of being very debilitated and very alone and very broke.
Mm.
And, and that's what it's showing me again. I thought I got rid of this picture in my head, but it's back now that I asked it.
Okay. So, but your reality, right? Show the anxiety. Tell the anxiety that your reality now is not that, right?
Right.
You're not broke. You're thriving. You're not debilitated. You're functioning.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone. You have family, you have friends, you have a huge community of women, people in your community. So show the anxiety, maybe welcome it into your life to show it that that's just unresolved fear.
Yeah, there's a definitive line now between that black cloud and a really bright blue sunshiny sky.
Amazing. So now what you're going to do is that blue sky, that bright blue sky is going to envelop the cloud, the dark cloud, and show it that, it's all good. And you're going to tell the anxiety, thank you. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I've got this. I don't need you.
It's all blue sky now.
Just feel what that feels like in your body.
Yeah.
Now that you're
Light. Yeah. My chest was really heavy earlier, but it feels light now.
Okay. Do you feel tingling? Do you feel?
I feel like I can take a deeper breath.
Sound slower, like you sound like things have calmed down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like. So you're just going to say, anxiety, I don't need you. Is it a he or she or just an it?
I think it's just an it.
Okay. So when it shows up next time, if it shows up next time, you're just going to go through this same practice. You're going to thank it. You're going to thank it for working with you. You can dance with it. You're just going to continue to remember the blue sky and watch the blue sky completely envelop the dark cloud every single time it pops into your life.
Love that. I love that imagery.
Well, you created that imagery. It came from you, not from me.
That's great. That's very helpful. Thank you for that. That is such a gift. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. This is similar to what we do at the MS stage. We name our symptoms and we talk to them and we have a relationship with them and we dance with them and we can literally calm things down, right? By being friends with them instead of being angry at them or frustrated.
Yeah.
For like, if you have issues, walk. Like my left leg, her name is Roxy. So
love that.
Yeah. So she, she and I have a relationship, and when she gets frustrated with me if I'm going too fast, right? So my superpower that she taught me is to slow down, but I need to slow down. I've got to calm down. And if I stay calm, she stays calm and she's happy about that, right? So your anxiety is showing you there's no need, that they're afraid of the future. But the superpower in that is that you actually have plenty to be grateful for and you don't need to be worried about the future because the future is the future. I mean, anything could happen in a minute, right? Tomorrow, right? Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen, but we can't project into the future, and anxiety might want you to do that, but you're going to just say, no, thank you. I've got this. I'm good. I'm present. I'm right here, right now. And I've got you know, all these things. I've got this community, I've got support, I'm not alone, I've got my family, I've got my daughters, I've got all the things, I'm good. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you for trying to warn me, but I'm good.
I love the way you flipped that. Yeah, it's not a scary thing. It's actually a gift showing
Yep.
me what I'm capable of, right?
Exactly. We're turning symptoms into your superpowers, and that's what we do at the MS stage. It's flipping it on its head, right? And flipping the script on it. So it's whatever your story is in your head.
Yeah.
And it's frustration. Oh, I'm really anxious, or no. You know, it's like, no, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Just thank it. Just thank it. If it's in your chest, just sit for a second, get out of your head into your body. Thank it for showing you, okay, nope, I've got this. I don't need to be anxious. I don't need to be fearful of the future. Like,
Yeah.
I'm right in here right now. I'm here.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for that tool. That's great. I know that's going to be a gift to me every day now. Thank you.
I'm so glad. No, it's my pleasure. And any other symptoms that you're having, you can do this same practice with.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna name some of these things too. I like that.
I've got my leg one, my foot is another. Yeah, you can name just your MS.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I just like to do that because it makes it more personal, right? It's talking to them like they're your friend.
Yeah.
You're not mad at them.
Yeah.
Here's what I teach is that our bodies are trying to help us. Mm-hmm. They want to work for us. Our cells listen to and you're all about empowerment, which is why you say FUMS. Yeah. Our cells listen to everything we're saying, we're thinking, we believe. They're literally listening at all times. And so if we're telling them, well, I'm so frustrated with you, or you're so bad, or I don't like you, or I hate you, or whatever, then they're not going to perform, right? They're not going to, I mean, it's like, think of it like a child. Like, if they're listening to you just berate them all the time and be mad at them all the time and beat them up, then they're not going to be nice.
Right.
They're actually thanking them for, hey, I hear you. I know you're trying to show me something right now.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
I got that. I got it. I heard you. So now let's ask them, well, what do you need from me today? How can I do today?
Yeah.
Because that your whatever other symptom, right, could be they're saying to you, you just need to rest. Like, I just want you to rest because I want to rest today. Mm-hmm. Or like maybe they're saying, you know, I didn't like that food that you just put in here.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever that symptom might be.
Yeah.
But like, so then your body's telling you, no, actually maybe you need to eat a little healthier, or whatever it is, whatever the message is, but you will know what happened to that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I recently started to listen to dear Gabby Bernstein, who I'm sure you're very well aware of.
I've trained with Gabby. I've done her master classes, and I'm a huge fan of Gabby.
Yeah. So that's why, you know, as you're saying this, I'm like, I've heard all of this recently, but you pinpointed it a little bit more for me because we share this disease, and naming it is brilliant. I mean, really, I understand that. I understand how that can personalize, and then it's a different level of communication that you have, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The relationship. Right? It's not, and you're not angry at it. You're not, because if you think of it or if you feel into it like another being, it's an entity, right? Yeah. So like if you treat it like an entity that has a name, that has a personality, like my Roxy has a total personality. Like I've meditated on what she looks like, what she wears, you can literally go really deep into who they are. Yeah. Then you're really personalizing it. Right? It becomes like your friend, like your buddy. Yeah. And your favorite person every day, but they're there to help you. So,
well, and it'll be easier to ask them to do things if you know them, right?
Because they listen to you, right? Yeah. So,
I get that. That's great.
I'm glad that's you. And that I take that as a compliment because Gabby Bernstein I'm a huge fan of hers, and yeah, I followed her for a very long time. So
Yeah, she's really good at, and it's funny because I listened to her a couple years ago, and then I don't know why, but just stopped listening. And then she came back into my life about the same time you did.
really,
And and then whichever episode I listened to, she mentioned her new book, Happy Days.
yes.
So I immediately purchased it, and I just went up to visit family last week and went dog sledding, by the way, which
Oh
was
yeah,
the coolest thing.
I forgot to ask you how that was.
It was so fun. I can't wait to do it again. And I said there's no way I would drive the sled. I would just ride, but I drove it, and it was so great. It was a blast. But
yeah.
anyway, I brought that book with me, and oh my God, it just resonated from the introduction.
Yeah.
So, and I'm highlighting the whole thing, and I just keep coming back to it. But my point is, the things I highlighted and the mantras that I'm taking from it are so similar to everything that you're saying. And I find it really interesting, universal timing, that this all happened at the same time. So
Yes, absolutely. No, it's definitely divine timing. That was no coincidence, right? I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens. And so love that came full circle for you. And I would also, hi, Mina, is my friend Mina is saying hello. I would also tell you to go back to the feeling of what it felt like to drive that dog sled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Badass. That's how I felt.
Got chills when I saw your reaction when I said that. So when you have a hard day, right, I want you to feel in your body, in your cells. I want you to close your eyes and take a breath and feel what that feels like in your body and how good that feels.
Yeah.
And then get up and see how it feels to walk around or go about your day or whatever it is, whatever your task is, right?
Yeah, I love that.
That will switch your anxiety too.
Yeah.
Symptom, because your symptoms want to feel good, right? So like cells want to feel good. So if you feel that joy, that whatever in whatever adjective you want to describe that experience as, like enthralling is the word that came to me. Like I don't know. Whatever
that says it all.
Experience is, right? Whatever that felt like, I want you to feel that and see how that shifts things in your body physically too, and in your mind. I mean, all of it, because it's all connected. But yeah. So I think that is really, I'm so glad you got to do that. I think that's so cool.
Yes. It was really, really fun and cold, but really fun.
Cold.
I bundled.
I'm such a wimp. But we live out at the beach, and the other day it was like, I don't even know, 60 degrees, but super windy. And I was like, my hands get so cold. I had to put gloves on just to go to the beach with my dog. I was like, it's 60 degrees.
Right.
But my
well, also wind makes a big difference. It was not windy that day, thank goodness. Because it would have been much worse. I don't know that I would have been able to handle it, but
no,
it was not windy. It was, talk about the universe gifting me this time with my family and this amazing opportunity to go dog sledding. And the day, so I went in last Thursday to Minnesota, and I left, and I had said one more thing I really wanted was to see it snow. I just think that's so beautiful. And it wasn't snowing, and it wasn't snowing. And then the day I left, it snowed, and I sat at the airport typing and looking up and watching it snow. And that was the beginning of the snow. And they have had they've had the biggest storm of the last 10 years this week. And every one of my family members was like, thank God you got out when you did, because you'd still be here. So perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Divine timing.
All divine timing.
Yep.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to draw a card for you, but I want you to, if there's anything else you wanted to add or anything else you wanted to ask me or anything else that felt important to you.
I think that anxiety, I've got a lot going on in my life right now. So much is up in the air. um, I've recognized how I really, really, really like control and how really, really, really little of it I actually have. And so that's kind of the dynamic that I'm working with. And so much is up in the air, big, big things in my life. And it's, I need to recognize that I truly do not have control. And so I need to let it go.
My mantra for that is just I surrender.
Yes. I love that.
And
Yes. And why do I keep needing to be reminded of these things? I go,
like,
yes, like absolutely. I know that. Why do I have to keep being reminded of this?
note on your computer. Like like Gabby Bernstein actually says, I surrender and surrender more.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
keep surrendering, because the more you surrender, the more you will receive, and the more it will just continue to fall into place and evolve the way it's supposed to. So just let it happen. You can't have control over it. It's just you just got to let it be.
As much
right?
as I try, I cannot. Right. I need to let that go.
Yeah. Be in that moment of I let this be. I surrender. Mm-hmm. And just see what happens, because I completely believe in that, and I do believe that it will evolve the way it's supposed to.
I agree. Here's something I've sort of stumbled upon since we met and since I started listening to Gabby and reading this book. It just came to me. I am almost 59 years old, and things have always worked out for this long. Why wouldn't they the rest of my life?
Exactly.
That's kind of, an easy one to, I've got proof and evidence that things have always worked out. And so there's no reason to think that they won't.
Yeah. And honestly, in so many ways, and what I teach and what I've learned from my students too. I mean, I've said this for a long time. I mean, MS can actually be a gift in our lives.
100%. Yes.
It sounds like for you, it's been a gift because you got to slow down, be with your family more, right? There's so many things, and you created a whole business surrounding it, and you're helping so many more people too. So you've created this like whole community around you, and you're sharing your story and getting to help others at the same time, which is what we're all here for, right? Is serve. Mm-hmm. So as long as you keep doing what you're doing and you keep serving, your life is going to continue to be amazing and evolve, and everything will fall into place. You just have to one small right action at a time, like one step in front, one foot in front of the other, right? There's no control. It's just right here, right now. Because as one of my teachers has said, is the past is the past, and the future is 1 second from now.
Yeah. Right. So true.
All we've got is right now, like right this
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah. That's where we are. Like, we're not going to control any of it.
Right.
It's 1 second from now is the future. I mean,
right.
If you look at it in that perspective, like, I love when she says that, because I'm just like, oh, whoa. Like, you just kind of go, whoa, you know?
There it is. There it is again.
Yeah, it's really, and I love this, and I love that you've been so honest and open, and thank you for being here and joining me.
Thank you. This has been it's been my great joy and honor to have met you and to have this time to spend with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh my God.
And, I'm coming down to Charleston, girl, so we're going to have to get together.
Yeah. Booked it?
We'll exchange hats. We have not booked it yet, but I think we're zeroing in on the date. Hopefully this week we'll book it, and I'll let you know.
Okay. Keep me posted. What a blessing. I mean, I pitched you to be on your podcast, and here we are. And now I'm like so meant to meet. I mean, you never pitch somebody to be on a podcast, and I've been on a bunch of them. It's not like it doesn't turn, some of them, they're wonderful people. I'm not saying that, but like, it doesn't necessarily turn into a real friendship. So we've connected on a deeper level. I love having you here.
Totally agree. Thank you so much. And can I just say hi? I see my other daughter just jumped on too. Hi, Maggie May. Thank you, honey.
Maggie,
love you.
May, I love your name. It's such great. And Reagan and Maggie May. Very cool names. So thank you for joining, Maggie May. Okay, I'm going to draw a card for Kathy. calling on her guides, her guidance, the highest truth and compassion, to show her what she needs to hear, what she needs to see, what she needs to discover, and let her be, surrender now. Huh. Divine discernment. Step back to find clarity.
Mhm.
I'll text you a picture of this, but I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
Okay, so the quote is, "To the one who can perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible." Okay?
Let go
Take a breath.
of that control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is like literally the perfect card. Take either and honor your yin, your feminine nature. This is not always so easy to do in a culture that honors and celebrates the yang, drive, strive mode, while turning up its nose at the virtues of the yin qualities of flow and letting go. In yang mode, we get things done. In yin mode, we fill our tank and reflect on our larger vision and purpose. So when it is time to move on, we do so with precision. If we are to live in balance, we need both action and reflection. There are times to do and times for inaction. To know which mode is most appropriate, step back and practice discernment.
Okay. Well, you're right. That was the perfect card for today.
The mantra is divine discernment lets me know when to go, when to stop, and when to drop into the space in between.
Okay.
So that is actually the mantra that you should write on a Post-it note. And
Yeah.
I'm going to text you a picture of this, because that is absolutely. So this is the Hero's Journey Oracle card deck, and my framework of the MS stage, I use the Hero's Journey as part of the framework of the program, and to really get women back to their true essence, which you and I just sort of talked about today.
Yeah.
Not sort of did. So yeah, so this will be sort of your next, this is your assignment.
Okay. I love a good assignment.
This is your homework.
I love homework. Thank you.
Mantra on a Post-it note.
I will.
Where you can see it, where you'll see it every day.
Yeah.
And good. I love this because, I mean, I've never drawn that card, actually. It's the perfect balance between when to do and when to reflect, right? So it's when to stop the go and just let yourself rest, or let yourself be, or whatever that moment looks like for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, universe, I get it. I hear you. Got it.
Oh
my gosh.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Megan. This has been so fun. I've enjoyed every second, and thank you for the gift that you've given me, your time, your essence, and naming my superpowers and everything. This has just been fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I can't wait to do more with you. We're going to do more at some point, somehow.
I'm in.
It will present itself in whatever way it presents itself,
well,
right?
I just had an idea, so maybe I'll send that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope to see you soon. Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
Thank you for join and ask questions. And if you want to, you can DM me any questions here. Oh, also, I will mention while we're live that you guys can go on in my link in bio to sign up to get on my wait list, because I'll be launching my next round of programs soon. So you'll be the first to hear more about it if you sign up for the wait list. And I'm also doing a 3-day free turn your symptom into your superpower meditation journey that you can get if you sign up in my link in bio. So that'll give you a little more information.
Signing up, sister.
Okay. Good. Let me know how it goes. Report back. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.